So remember this article from CNBC about how Lucasfilm has already recouped its $4 billion investment? Well, Lucasfilm was lying.
Hello, I started this gangster shit. Just the motherfucking thanks I get. Hello, I started this gangster shit. And it's the motherfucking thanks I get. Hello.
Alright, welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. You're listening to Ethan Van Sciver, 25-year veteran of the comic book industry, illustrator of future Canadian Prime Minister Dr. Jordan B. Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, creator of Cyberfrog, Blood Honey, the biggest crowdfunded comic book of all time, world's most charming man, great big Star Wars fan. And that is why I worry today. I worry. Well, I worry that Disney and Lucasfilm aren't being honest with us. And it's okay. You guys can tell us the truth. It's alright. You don't have to send out mixed weirdo messages all the time. You don't have to offer us carrots and then yank them away again. Hey, we're going to do a Boba Fett movie. Psych. Hey, we're going to do an Obi-Wan Kenobi trilogy starring Ewan McGregor. Psych. Hey, we're out of debt. Psych. Psych. Look at this. Remember this article from October 30th? Disney bought Lucasfilm 6 years ago today and has already recouped its $4 billion investment. That's odd. How'd they do that? Well, a quick cursory look at this ridiculous article shows that, whoever is making this claim is adding the gross returns, box office returns, of all four terrible Disney Star Wars movies, and saying, hey, they add up to over $4 billion, so therefore they are out of debt. Ha ha ha. No, they're not out of debt at all. That's the difference between gross and net. So in other words, if you spend $1 buying 4 apples, and you sell those 4 apples and receive $1.50, you have not earned $1.50. You have earned 50 cents. That is how that works. That is the difference between gross and net. Now, this article came out on October 30th. Everyone ran with it. I don't know what is going on with Lucasfilm that they continue to put these lies out into the bloodstream of the American public. They're lying to the world about this. Is it because they're embarrassed? Well, I mean, only in June. I mean, this was just recently. In June, here's Forbes. And Forbes, of course, actually tell the truth, I think, about money. They have to. They're not CNBC. They're not, CNPC. Would it be CNPC? Wow. They're Forbes. They're going to tell the truth, and this actually makes a whole lot more sense. This article came out in June, shortly after Soylo, a Soy Wars story, came out. Disney recoups a quarter of its $4 billion Star Wars purchase price. So this was just in June. So unless over the past 4 or 5 months, Disney Star Wars, I guess Solo did great, right? Solo must be raking in the cash. It must have earned them another $3 billion out of the ether, out of the blue. Well, let's read this article real quick, and this guy right here, this guy's got an honest face, doesn't he? Yeah, he's kind of like, yeah. All right, he does. Christian, I trust you. Disney has felt the force of Star Wars as it made back at least a quarter of the $4 billion that it paid in 2012 to buy Lucasfilm, the owner of the sci-fi series. It's not sci-fi. Every time I call Star Wars sci-fi, everyone kicks my ass. Even though if Blockbuster Video were still around and you were looking to rent Star Wars on VHS, you would find it in the sci-fi section. They're like, no, it's a fantasy. It is a fantasy. You're right about that. But still, it's classified as sci-fi. Check IMDb for that. All right, according to an analysis of financial statements, Disney bought Lucasfilm from its founder George Lucas and has gone on to make 4 terrible Star Wars films. Okay, there have been 2 sequels. That's right, Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, to the original trilogy, which was launched in 1977, and 2 spin-off movies. One was pretty good. The other one was the nadir of Star Wars, worse than the holiday special in terms of lasting embarrassment and effect. Rogue One, good. Soylo, a Soy Wars story, not so good. The most recent was last month's, again, Soylo, a Soy Wars story, which tells the origin of iconic hero Han Solo, who was played by Harrison Ford, the great Harrison Ford, in the original movies as well as in the 2015 sequel. New star Alden Ehrenreich takes on the role in the latest movie and is joined by A-listers Dong Lover and Woody from Cheers. All of them did a great job. They did a fantastic job. How can I get rid of this right here? Why is... All right, there's a little X there. Yes, thank you. Hate these pop-up ads. Solo was originally directed by Philip Lord and Christopher Miller. We just call them Lord and Miller, or Phil Lord and Chris Miller. The duo behind the 2014 hit The Lego Movie that everybody loved. However, they were replaced in June last year with the Oscar-winning director Ronald Howard. How come it's Ron Howard and not Ronald Howard? Opie Cunningham, who reshot the scenes that had already been filmed. According to the financial statements for the production company behind the movie, the estimated final cost was forecast in excess of the budget. However, the film continued to be funded by its financiers, Lucasfilm Limited Productions LLC, a wholly owned subsidiary of the ultimate parent company, the Walt Disney Company. Oh, you poor guys. You know, it's like you sunk money into that movie. You're like, yeah, let's invest in another Star Wars movie. And it turned out to be Solo. If anybody from Lucasfilm Limited wants a Solo t-shirt to commemorate the misery of their loss and their poor decision, let us know. Cryptofashion.com. We'll send you one. Movie budgets are usually kept a closely guarded secret, as the studios tend to absorb the cost of individual pictures as part of their overall expenses. So they want to keep all this stuff secret. They don't want the public to know the embarrassing amount of money that they wasted, because really, if in this day and age, if you were to actually say, hey, we wasted $500 million making Solo, what would you do? I mean, I think humanity would riot. You know, you could feed starving third world nations for that, and you wasted it making an Alden Ehrenreich bomb. That's embarrassing. Now, you really think about that. And you lost money. Alright, so British newspaper The London Evening Standard recently revealed in the 2 years and 3 months, 11 November 2017, the total cost of making Solo came to $275 million. This total is shown on the financial statements below and is expected to rise, as it doesn't include post-production. I think post-production, Ron Howard actually stepping in and finishing the movie. Now, in one article that we read together around June, it was revealed accidentally that they spent another $250 million. Ron Howard did, finishing the movie. A similar disaster happened making Justice League. When the original director had to step away, and they brought in Joss Whedon, I should say, the horrible Joss Whedon, to finish that film, to ruin it. He needed another $300 million, putting that film impossibly over budget. And heads rolled. It was a disaster, of course, the likes of which we'll never see again. Solo, I think, had a similar situation happen. When you fire a bunch of directors who are 85% of the way through the movie, they've already spent most of the budget, you bring in somebody like Opie Cunningham to finish it, he's going to need a lot more money, probably that original budget back again, or at least most of it. So I think that they're lying about this, and I even think this movie cost closer to $500 million to make. That is my guess. So there are other costs here that are included. Here's a $34 million expense for freelancers, self-employed workers make up the vast majority of personnel on the movie. So you're paying caterers, you're paying everyone who works on the set. That's expensive. Other key costs are equipment hire, travel, spending on visual effects. Companies like Disney's own ILM, which has an office in London. Figures released by the British Film Institute show that $2.6 billion was spent on the production of movies in Britain last year. It was a 23% increase on 2018, and the highest since the BFI began collecting records more than 20 years ago. Alright, as we reported, Disney's Star Wars movies have all been shot in Britain, and according to their latest financial statements, a total of $1.3 billion has been spent on making them. This cost far outweighed by the ticket sales of Disney's Star Wars movies. According to the industry analyst Box Office Mojo, they have grossed $4.7 billion worldwide. So that's the gross, and that's the number that CNPC bandied around as if to say, look, we've recouped all of the money that we spent. Wrong. Not at all. Including the look at this miserable number. This increased a little bit. At this point in June, the film had made $264.2 million. That is a disaster. That is absolutely a disaster. This was the, week two. Studios typically get around half the takings, so Lucasfilm has already recouped at least a quarter of the purchase price of Lucasfilm by movie profits alone. Alright, so that is the truth. That is the truth. And that means technically Lucasfilm would have to make 16 terrible Star Wars films. 16, not just 4, in order to recoup the $4 billion budget. I'm sure there's other revenue streams coming in, but are those revenue streams bringing in billions and billions of dollars worth of profits? I severely and seriously doubt it. So there's that. Now, the disaster of Solo, the miserable, sad disaster of Solo. We remember this article, and we're gonna return to this because I did a video about this already, and I think it deserves an answer. Because this article asks a question. Solo, which ended up landing at $392.9 million in profits. Okay, not in profits, in total. That's what it grossed. It didn't make a profit. It lost approximately $80 million. That's what they're saying. I think it lost much, much more than that. But they're admitting to $80 million. This article came out on September 12th. Solo, a Soy Wars story, can break even with home video sales. Indeed? Is that, are we to believe? Yeah, so we scroll down a little bit, and here's what they're saying. All right, so Solo would actually need to make about $100 million in Blu-ray sales. Could we get 100 million people? Could we, not 100 million people, what would that be, about 10 million people? Could we sell about 10 million copies of Solo, a Soy Wars story, on Blu-ray or DVD? Is that possible? That's the only way to break even on Solo. And Rogue One did $83 million in video sales. And I think it was like $100 million overall, or $102 million overall in domestic video sales. Now, that's very good. But see, these people actually speculated that, a lot of people went to see Rogue One in the theater, so, maybe fewer people bought the DVD and the video because they'd already seen it. Now, nobody, except for me, I went, nobody went to see Solo in the movie theaters, so maybe that means that everyone is going to buy it on Blu-ray and DVD, and then all it needs to do really is make that they need to make that $100 million in Blu-ray DVD sales, and then we're good. Then we're golden. Then, hey, we've broken even. Bad news. Financial information came in on Solo, a Soy Wars story, and all right, $18,396,492. That is sad. That is the equivalent of castration. This was supposed to be 5 times this number, obviously, in order just to break even. This movie is an unmitigated disaster. It is a bomb. Disney has only made a quarter of its money back for the money they laid out to buy Star Wars. If that, Solo has lost them money, and they proceed headlong into making more disastrous decisions on behalf of Lucasfilm and Star Wars. A franchise that people used to really value and treasure and enjoy, and now everyone is kind of sad about. And that sadness, that sorrow, that misery and regret is right here in this number. Bitter recrimination should follow, heads should roll, and heads that didn't roll should be hanging in shame. This is a terrible, terrible crisis and a disaster. When, Bob Iger, are you going to trebuchet Kathleen Kennedy's stupid ass out of Lucasfilm? When are you going to do it? The sooner the better. Hey, want to follow me on Twitter? Okay, cool. I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. Talk to you there. Join the fandom menace and execute your own Order 66 with our incredible line of t-shirts, Soylo, a Soy Wars story, Tico, a Soy Wars story, and our brand new smoking hot Soy Wars Plan 9. Make a statement today. This is the only trilogy you'll ever need. The link is below in the description. If you enjoyed this video and want to become part of this community, subscribe to this channel by clicking the laughing man face logo right on your screen. Ring the bell for notifications as well. You'll never miss a live chat. And stay tuned, another video by Comic Artist Pro Secrets is coming right up.